Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. And today we're going to be talking about a very interesting variation within the Scotch game, which is the Potter variation. And it's a very interesting game because if your opponent plays the very natural moves for black, they end up losing the game. Let's take a look at the moves here. The first moves are the starting moves of the Scotch game, which is e4, e5, and you develop your knight to f3, your opponent plays knight c6, and this is the typical move that starts the Scotch game, d4, breaking away in the center right away. And more often than not, your opponent is going to take this pawn, and you're going to recapture with the knight. The most common move here for your opponent is bishop to c5, attacking the knight here. So we have the knight and bishop attacking our knight. We have only the queen protecting, so we have to do something about this. And in the classical variation, people are going to develop the bishop here to e3, but we're not going to do that. We're going to play the Potter variation, which is knight to b3. And now we are actually attacking the bishop here, and black has to do something about that. And the most common move here is to just retreat the bishop to the square of b6. And from here, we can continue from our variation. And the idea here, guys, is to just develop our pieces very quickly. The knight, the bishop, and the queen, and castle long with the rook pointing at the queen, x-raying the queen here in the d file. So that's our plan. And we're going to start executing it by playing the move queen to e2. That's going to be our first move. Our idea is to support this pawn and castle quickly here on the queen side. Okay, that's our plan. Black's probably going to play two moves here, the knight or the pawn. And if they play the knight move here, which is one of the most common moves, we're just going to push the pawn and harass this knight from the center of the board. So they're going to play knight to d5. We're going to play c4, attacking the knight once again. And when they move the knight away one more time, we could go for this, but we are going to play this move right here, which is c5, attacking the bishop. And here is the point where if black plays the natural moves, they can go really, really wrong. So the natural move is to just move away with the bishop, right? So you can trade for the knight. But the only correct move here for black is actually taking this pawn and giving away the bishop, right? So what happens here is if black plays the natural move bishop to a5, running away from this attack from the pawn, we're going to trade the bishop for the knight. We take, they take back. And here we play this very interesting move, queen to g4, attacking both this pawn and the knight here. And black can't defend both of them. The only good shot they have is to move this knight here and try to give a check against us. So that's what they're going to do here. They play knight to c2 check. We're just going to move our queen away. We're going to, or our king away. We're going to play king to d1, attacking the knight. Now we're hitting this knight here, and we keep attacking the pawn over there. And black has two moves here. Again, if they play the natural move, they're going to lose. The natural move here is to just trade this knight for the rook, right? That's the most natural move for black here. But the only correct move is actually castling. But if they play the knight move and take the rook over there, we're going to go ahead and take the pawn on g7. Black has to do something about this rook, right? This rook is under attack. So they have to move the rook away. And instead of just taking this pawn right here, we have a much stronger move here, which is bishop to g5, attacking the queen. And black has nothing to do but to give away the queen. In this position, the best move for black is to just take the bishop with the queen. And if they do that, if they take the bishop with the queen, we just take the queen and we are up a queen, right? We are winning this game very easily. And believe me, guys, that's the best move because things can go really well here, really wrong here. If they don't go for this move, they don't take the bishop and they play f6, for example, trying to block the way here, it's not going to work. We're just going to take this pawn with our pawn. So e takes f6. And again, the best move for black here is to just take this pawn. And if they do that, of course, we're going to take the queen with the bishop and we are winning this game for sure. But if they decide to take, not to take the pawn with the queen, but play like a move, for example, rook here, attacking our queen, we just play check. Rook to f8 has to block, and then we give this beautiful checkmate with a pawn here, supported by the queen. The bishop is covering the escape square. There is no way for black to win this. This is just checkmate. So this is what happens if they play. Of course, knight takes rook here, but what if they just castle in this position? If they castle, we can go ahead. We could go ahead and take this knight, and we would still be winning, but we have a much stronger move here, which is bishop to h6. Threatening checkmate here. Remember that black cannot take this bishop because it's pinned, so they have to weaken their position by playing g6, in which case we're going to just now take the knight. And if they play a move like this one, for example, trying to attack our queen, we're just going to push this pawn, and the idea here is to push this pawn and free this diagonal so we can move the queen away and again threaten checkmate. And of course, by blocking this diagonal, we're blocking the bishop of taking our queen. So from here, we play this move. We are freeing the diagonal. Again, the idea is to give checkmate here, not here. Black's gonna take the pawn. We're going to move our queen there, threatening checkmate. They have to make another weakening move, and from here we can just take the rook. And if you count the material here, we are up a rook. Here we have queen and 2 rooks, 2 pieces against queen, 1 rook and 2 pieces. They have a pawn for this, I believe 5, and they have 2 pawns, but we are for sure winning this game. What can happen differently at the beginning of the game is that in this position right here, instead of actually taking the pawn, they can move the bishop away, right? That's what we covered. But if they take the pawn, it's fairly easy to play as well. We play a3, then the knight has to move away. We can go for this move again, the same idea, attacking the pawn over there. And this knight is attacking the bishop, so they have to do something about this. They're going to be dropping the bishop back so they can cover the weakness. We're going to snap that knight off the board, castle. If black plays a move like this, attacking our queen here, we can just drop the queen back and we have a great game. We can keep developing with the knight here, bishop out, centralizing the rooks. It's just a great game for us. And of course, there's always another option for black here. Instead of playing the knight out, they can go for the pawn. So this is a more quiet move. We're just going to keep developing our plan. Remember, knight out, bishop here, castle long. That's the idea right from the start. So we're going to develop the knight. Black's going to do the same. We're going to develop the bishop to e3. We're challenging this bishop right away. If they take, we just recapture. They're going to castle. We play f3. This move is protecting this pawn and protecting this square as well from any infiltrations from black. So it's a very useful move to remember. If rook e8, let's say, we castle long, that's following our plan. Bishop to e6, normal developing move here from black. We're going to take that bishop, trading some pieces here. And then a quiet move like king b1, securing the position. Very easy game for us here. We have a great position, and this is also a very comfortable game for white. And let me know, guys, what you think about this variation, the Potter variation. Very easy to play for white, and it can bring you some really nice games if you like to play the Scotch game and go for something different from the main line. You can go for this move that is very, very interesting. And if black plays the natural moves, they are going to lose the game. If you liked this video and it was useful for you, please leave a comment down below, like, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, I see you guys in the next one.